when you look for a job, when you're in the market to find your next job, whether you're local, you're an international person, whatever you're doing, you have a default way, right? And that default way is where you go and find your job on a place like Seek that I've just shown you. And there's many other websites as well, Jora, Indeed, Atzuna, LinkedIn Jobs, Monster, Glassdoor. There's many places where jobs are listed. But that's the default way. That's how we've learned to do it during the last 25 years or so, since the online has been a thing, is that you create a generic CV and that is your stuff. That is you having just put your stuff on a piece of paper. I've had this qualifications, I've had this experience, I have these skills, and that's your sort of career history. And then you go and find a job ad and you apply with that generic CV. Now, that is not per se a wrong strategy. It's just a default way that most people do it. It's very difficult, becomes more and more difficult because of competition and AI and a lot of other things. And that will give you a 1% success rate. If you apply with a generic CV to job ads, you have a 1% or so success rate, depending on the market, etc. So you literally have to, for every 100 good applications, you'll potentially get through to one. I'm not saying that it's going to be an interview or a job offer. One means on the shortlist. Okay, so that's where you get to. If you do a tailored CV for every single job application, you will potentially increase your chances to about 3%. So this is the default way. This is how we are used to doing things. The way that I teach, and it's not just about me, this is strategic ways. This is alternative ways. What I teach you guys is to find employers, find the requirements, and then approach them directly. We know this is a virtual door knock or the direct approach, and you can build an audience of a certain amount or a number of people, very targeted people, get your profile in front of them. And that's what we call the relationship and network strategy. A lot of you should have started that by now. And then there's also advanced one, which is what we call the influencer strategy. It's not, you don't need to be a Kardashian, but you literally need a profile that is 100 times better than everyone else. You need a lot of content and you need to get it in front of a lot of people. Okay, so that is something that I do. I have quite a big audience. I don't run ads. I don't send CVs. I just put videos out there, and that's how I attract people to me. And that's not uncommon. A lot of people that I work with, even in career coaching and candidates, do this way. I think I've shown you some of those examples before. So it is a strategy. It does require a little bit of different work. And if you've worked through the direct approaches and the relationship building strategy, then you can get to that. But I don't recommend doing that until you get through the other two. Now, there are also alternatives, and it's sort of a mix of the default way and the others, and that is finding hidden jobs. Hidden jobs are jobs that is not advertised on these websites, okay, but do exist out there in some shape or form in some place. So there are actually many ways to find those hidden jobs, but today I'm going to show you 5 of those ways. Now, I must just stress here, before you do this, before you actually take this on, I want you to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is perfect, almost perfect. We can never get it perfect, but as perfect as possible, as complete as possible. Your eligibility needs to be there for international candidate. Your value need to be there. Everything need to be in place because people are going to come looking. Okay, so you need to have it in place. So make sure of that before you go into any of these things. And the reason for that is, if you're going to go this way and employ any of these 5 ways that I'm going to show you, you will potentially be the only one or one of a few applicants. So you'll stand out. People will come looking. And CVs are usually, they are used, but they're not that important in this case. So your LinkedIn profile is going to be the thing. And not just your LinkedIn profile, the content, the value profile that you have on it, the things that you've put there. Are you internationally competitive? Are you demonstrating your value? Are you available? Are you eligible? All those things will be important. So please have it complete. Good. So let's get into it. 5 ways to find hidden jobs. Now, also, if you're going to do this, you might have to apply for some of these jobs. If you do, you've got to use a tailored CV. Otherwise, you have to, once you've found these jobs and things, you can employ one of these strategic ways. If I'm not going to go into exactly how to do that this time, I'm just going to tell you how to find these jobs. Okay. Good. First one is to follow targeted recruiters or hiring managers and see the jobs on their news feeds. Now, what I'm referring to here newsfeed as LinkedIn newsfeed. Okay, so all we're using here is LinkedIn. And the reason that happens is because companies don't always advertise online. You should know by now why they do this, because it's expensive. This is the height of the recruitment season in the Southern Hemisphere. To some extent in other countries as well, although certain countries it's not that common, but New Zealand, Australia especially. Now, these companies, for example, in New Zealand, the small businesses in New Zealand make up 97% of the economy. Small businesses are businesses with less than 50 people. That's how we define a small business in New Zealand. They make up 97% of the economy. For them to put a job ad on Seek is $3,500 for one job ad per month. They don't have that money. So they're going to find other ways of getting out there that they want people. And therefore, they will appear in one of these ways. I am also talking about recruiters. Recruiters are businesses. They are people who get their money or target companies who want people, and that's who pay them. Those companies pay them to get them talent, to get them their workers. So they also need to advertise those jobs. They need to get out there and say, we need people to sell, per se, to these companies. They also have the same problem. They can't advertise all those jobs on LinkedIn Jobs or Seek or whatever because it is expensive. So what they will do is literally go and place these job ads. We can call it a job ad or a job post on their newsfeed. I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. If you go and find your targeted recruiters or even hiring managers inside certain companies, then you will see on their newsfeed these job posts. So let's look at a couple. Kelly Dillon is a recruiter in New Zealand. I've known Kelly for many years now, and she is awesome. She's worked for so many, sorry, I'm just doing this properly. She's worked for so many recruitment companies in New Zealand. I've lost track of it, but last year, I think she was Recruiter of the Year. She's incredible. Right now, she is one of those people who would put jobs on her posts, and all of them do it. So if you go to her LinkedIn profile and you're following her, you will see posts coming, her newsfeed coming through your newsfeed, things that she posts coming through your newsfeed. And these are not always posted in LinkedIn Jobs, like this one, for instance. 3 months ago, she posted, exciting new role, immediate start available. This sounds like you, get in touch today, right? This job is not advertised in LinkedIn Jobs or on Seek. It's here on her newsfeed. So if you follow her, then you potentially see this coming to your newsfeed. All right. And then you would potentially be able to be the only or one of few candidates because nobody else has seen it. Now, if you go through her posts, you'll see quite a bit. There's quite a bit of this happening. And you can literally go and check out some of these jobs. There's no link here. It's not a job ad. It is just a job in her newsfeed. Okay, makes sense? So this is just one example. She is a business support recruiter, so she does admin and accounts receivable and all those kind of things, and a variety of things. So I recommend following the person because that person is someone who is posting job ads in your niche. So you need to find those recruiters. If you work with me one-on-one, then I would have given you a list to start with, and you can always expand that list. I've shown you how to. So you can find those recruiters. The other one we can use is Giel van As. Giel is a Dutch person. He's in New Zealand and he works for Technical Recruitment Services. I think they're in Wellington, Technical Recruitment Solutions, sorry. Now, also, same thing with him. He's a recruiter, and you will see some of his jobs and job posts. This is it. This is like a general post in terms of we need candidates. They need candidates, okay, and they need people. So here is one for a fitter electrician. This job ad, this post is nowhere in LinkedIn Jobs or in Seek. It's just here on his newsfeed. And if you saw this in front of other people, you would potentially be the front runner in this job, given the fact that your LinkedIn profile is up to scratch. Okay, your ducks need to be in a row. So this is the kind of thing that you'll see coming up. If you look through his newsfeed, you can see he does it all the time. This costs him nothing to post. It's free to him. He would also, post or repost someone else's job ads in their company on his newsfeed. So it's exposure to a heck of a lot of hidden jobs, which you would never find anywhere else. And you would be able to be one of the only. If you see something like this, then it's potentially being advertised in LinkedIn Jobs where it says view job. But otherwise, if it's just a post like this, it's potentially not even on LinkedIn Jobs. It might be on their website, but you'll see it here first. So I hope that makes sense. Now, I haven't put it in here, I will do, but how do you find people who are not recruiters who are hiring? So what I would do is, let's put hiring in commas. So that is what we call an absolute search in LinkedIn. We would go to people. We would go to filters. We would go to locations. Now, in locations, the point is here to add it as close as possible to what you're looking for. You might be, like Mornay is going to UAE, you might be interested in Dubai or something like that, just to reduce the number of search results. But keep on using your filters box until you get to a point of manageable list. Here I could see that hiring, the word hiring in the pages of people in New Zealand comes up people working for these companies. So that's just, one way of looking at it. But you can go to industry and you can add industry here. So for instance, say finance, financial services, or accounting. Let's put accounting in there. Roseanne is here. Let's do accounting. Okay. Show results. So when you do that, you will get a list of people who are internal recruiters, external recruiters, but also hiring managers inside companies who has hiring in their description or somewhere in their page. They are hiring managers, or they are in the hiring managers roles, or potentially part of it, if that makes sense. Sometimes you'll find a person who is actually hiring, that it will put it around their hiring. The purple one will appear around their photo. So you can find people this way. Okay, so there's all these kinds of different ways in which you can find people. And you can go through here and just, even use your filters again and check out where these people are. These are all small businesses in New Zealand, apart from Department of Internal Affairs. So you can get an idea of what is happening. You can even go to, instead of that, you can go to posts and look at people posting. The thing here is just that you can't do all filters and countries. That's just the downside of it. So I hope this makes sense. So I hope that helps you find people and find jobs that they put in your newsfeed that you might never see elsewhere, is by following those targeted people. So once you find a person, go and click follow on their LinkedIn profile. Now, how do you find them? I've put a link in here. This will take you through to the video that I did the other day that is about how to find recruiters. So that video is dedicated to that. I'll put this PDF in the group for you later on, and I'll tag you also that you can actually download this PDF and you can click on this link if you wanted to. All right. So let me know if you have any questions about this, but this is basically an easy way to see jobs that is never advertised just from following certain people and from making sure that when you follow these people, you actually read what comes into your newsfeed. Okay, make sure you read the detail. That's the other thing. Don't have a whole lot of people in your newsfeed that's not conducive to you searching for a job. Call them, get them out of there, because you don't want your feed to be diluted by news that's not worthy. That's not worth it. I must also add here, if you're following certain companies, then you will also see that in your newsfeed that sometimes they post open jobs. Okay, so whatever companies you're following, I have so many in here because I do it for candidates. When I search, I actually go and follow those companies to find more. But you'll see in your newsfeed those companies actually post their jobs in here as well. Okay, so that's one way. Let's move on. Next one is to look at expressions of interest. Now, you might have heard of that, and you can search it in different ways. You can search in the job listings. Remember those websites that I've talked about, and they're up here: Seek, Jora, Indeed, Atsuna, LinkedIn Jobs, etc. In your country of destination, you might find different ones, but you can literally look at expressions of interest in job search listings, or you can do a Google search with expression of interest, your occupation, and just make sure you set your location settings. I'm going to show you examples of all of these. So let's go to Seek New Zealand. Okay. Seek.co.nz. Roseanne, I'm going to use you here because you are accounting. So I'm just going to put expression of interest. Goodness, if I can type. Okay. So I put expression of interest in brackets, but not brackets, and commas because I use an absolute search. There's a name for it. I've got the name for it. I think it's called a Boolean search or something like that. But if you want to be targeted, you can just choose, your niche or your occupation or your category here. And what you will see here is these things: expression of interest. Now, when you look at this job here, this job ad from Adecco is a recruitment company all over the world. They do this kind of thing because it's one job ad that they're posting, that they pay for actually in Seek, one job ad that they pay for in Seek, which is between $1,500 and $3,500 per month per one job ad, but it's for more than one job. Okay, so this is how they get away with one job ad, paying for one job ad for potentially many jobs. And that's what they do, is putting expressions of interest. So here you can see we're interested in hearing from accountants who are eager to make a difference and blah, 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 blah. So this is the whole thing here. What I would then do is go find this person, follow them on LinkedIn, and then make sure that you get in front of them. I would this is an email, so you can also email this person if you wanted to, but if you just apply, quick apply is obviously going to get you eliminated instantly. So don't worry about this thing about open rights to work in New Zealand, whatever. Just ignore that. They put that there to just make sure that they don't get inundated with people. But yeah, go and contact Kaylee Cook, but I would go and find Kaylee Cook in LinkedIn at Adecco, and here we go. There she is. I would follow her, and I would get her in my network if I were you. Okay, so this is the way to do the first thing that you do, but this is a way to find multiple jobs in one ad, if it makes sense. Okay, so the other way is to just go to Google. Now, the nice thing about going to Google is also a search engine, just like LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a search engine, but Google has so much more reach out there. Obviously, it goes and scrapes every bloody website that can be scraped, and it would just come back with whatever. So let's do that. I think I have done expression of interest. Let's see, expression of interest and accountant. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, expression of interest and accountant. Now, when you do this and you're not in your destination country, make sure you go to, I think it's Tools, Advanced Search, and then set your region here to, New Zealand or Australia, wherever you're going to make sure that you're getting the right search results. And there you go. You can see that one coming through. Now, this is on the Adecco website. So can you see how it scrapes? Google goes and scrape all those websites, including the Seek one. But you can also see Anderson Partnership expression of interest. You potentially wouldn't find this in Seek because it would not be a job that they pay for to advertise for. Okay, so here you can see jobs. I'm just going to click on this one. This, I've never heard the Anderson Partnership. I don't know who they are. I've never seen them. I don't know what they are about. So let's see who they are and just make sure that we check out properly about us. They are probably somewhere, it looks like a fairly big firm. Yeah, looks like a fairly big firm. Oh, they're Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth, and Auckland. So there you go. But you get my drift when I say you can work through these pages here and you'll find a lot that's not on Seek. Okay, Place Center, Global Career Hub. I don't know what that is. That's the immigration partnership, and you've usually got to go to page 5 or 6 or so to see jobs that would never be advertised on job websites, but on only the websites of employers or somewhere else. Somewhere else. Okay, so you would have to go to some of these pages here. Okay, cool. So you get my drift in terms of how to find those jobs just by doing a search for expressions of interest, either in one of your job search listings websites or in Google. And then obviously, if there's a job advertised on a website, make sure that you know if you apply whether you're going to go through the ATS system. If you're going to go through the ATS system, you potentially would be eliminated. So make sure that you find someone or that you get in front of them without having to be eliminated. I'm not going to go through all those details now, but you know what to do there. If you don't know, ask again. We'll do that again. Okay, good. Moving on. Facebook groups. Now, this is a gold mine of jobs. I have come across this when years and years and years ago when I just started out teaching people how to find jobs. And it's still a big thing. The reason Facebook groups, I'm saying Facebook group, but just Facebook in general, is because it is free for small businesses to advertise on these local or regional groups. So I'm saying local or regional because you can literally go down to the wire in terms of your location, your town that you want to be in. I at the moment have clients who want to go to very specific towns in regional rural Australia. Facebook groups will be a wealth of information about jobs there that you would not find anywhere else. So you can literally go nuts with this. Okay, you can go and find the place you want to go to, or the town or the region or whatever, and you can go and look at those kind of jobs advertised there. So let's go there. I'm just going to go to Facebook, and it's going to take a lot of my bandwidth, so bear with me here. But usually you would search just for groups in or jobs in whatever place, okay? Jobs in, say, Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, okay? Jobs in Hawke's Bay. So Hawke's Bay is a region in New Zealand. Now, when you look at this, there's 25,000 members on this group. And yes, people would post these things about wanting a job, but you will also see people posting jobs. And yes, there are more sort of blue collar jobs or part-time jobs, but now and then you would find something that is actually worth it. I've had numerous people from overseas find their jobs by just looking through these jobs websites and Facebook groups, or these job ads and posts in Facebook groups. Okay, so there's a the sky's the limit here. You can literally go and look and find anything. I always say if you don't have a job in New Zealand and you haven't done this yet, then there's something wrong. You should be able to find a job doing this way. And this just shows you how prolific the jobs are out there, how many opportunities are out there. Let's look at jobs in Perth, which is a little bit Perth, Western Australia. Excuse me. So when I do the search here, you can see that there is a fair amount of different groups, and you can see how many 190,000 people on this one. Obviously, I've got to join the group, but you can see how they are posted. Now, also be very careful when you do this that you don't fall for scams, because this is open to any man and his dog, and there's a lot of scams going on here. So you need to, when you get something like this, go and check out this person, the advertiser. You need to go and check out the job. You need to go through the normal processes. But I can't tell you how many people I've had that have been able to find jobs this way. Okay, so your local groups in a very specific location is a wealth of opportunities. I would recommend not adding your details there and saying, I want a job in this town, because you'll be inundated with scams. It's happened all the time, but just sort of fly under the radar, look around the fringes and see if you can find something. And if you see a business that's advertising, do the normal thing and go and approach them directly. That's the kind of thing that you should be doing. Good. Moving on. Next thing is industry conventions. Now, I'm talking here about, obviously, if you're doing it from a distance, online events, webinars, seminars, etc. If you're on the ground, we call it job fairs. There's quite a bit of that happening in the beginning of the year. New Zealand, Australia, Canada, all places around the world. You can literally go and search job fair and you'll see them. So if you're on the ground, go and do that kind of thing. On the ground, go and meet people. I've had, I don't know how many candidates find their jobs by literally being in a job fair. One time, I had someone walk away with 4 job offers from people that they met at a local job fairs on the ground in New Zealand in a week. So that happens too. But if you're at a distance and you want to do this from a distance, look for online events. You can join those events. You can participate in those events. There's numerous ways in which you can be present, be seen, make contacts, get in contact with people, become visible, portray your details. Lots of that has happened as well. So I've done a search here for you. So let's look at that. Eventbrite is a place that posts events in New Zealand. So what I've done is seminar, accounting, and New Zealand. I've just put that in a Google search and it's come up with different things. But here are some different upcoming events in Auckland relating to accounting. Now, you can do this for IT, for construction, for whatever. Okay, so there are free events and there are paid events. And you can join any of these from a distance. Not all of them, but some of them you can join from a distance. Like this is a basic Xero workshop in February for $95. But the thing is, who is here? Who's doing this? People who are in the industry who you want to be exposed to. So that's the kind of reason you need to be joining these things. Okay, so you can look through this. You can just keep going and going and going. You can literally see lots of them here. You can do IT, and you can do this in any country, in any place in the world. It probably needs to information technology or something. Okay, it needs to be obviously properly worded for your niche or industry. So there's all these kinds of things happening, and this is just on the Eventbrite website. There's other websites as well that will give you some ideas if you're doing this from a distance. And there's obviously these forums or groups or member sites that do the same thing. And you can join them as well. We'll talk about them in a minute. But you can see through this search how many virtual webinars, seminars, events there are that you can join and become visible. And like I say, I've had so many people found connections, found exposure, found visibility, found job offers just by being present here and participating. Right. So next one is professional groups. Now I'm going to use LinkedIn groups here, but like you saw on the previous page, you can do any kind of professional groups, forums, membership sites, etc. in your niche. Now here, if you just want to go to LinkedIn, let's just go to LinkedIn first. Okay. And what you do here in LinkedIn is search for groups. If you worked with me, I would have given you some examples of groups to find, and then you can go on and find more. So let's just look education. Mornay is an education. Oh dear. Education, and we will look in groups. Or you can put tertiary education. There's 75,000 results. So you would have to put a or UAE. I'm not sure how this will come out, Mornay, but let's see if we find anything. There we go. 10 members, 32 members, 220 maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't go for a group with one person, you know. You can look through this and see if there's anything that, you know, attracts your attention. A group needs to be big enough for you to participate in, become visible, and become seen. What we want to do with a group is visibility. Okay, so there need to be people in there. You need to, that's the two things. There need to be enough people in there, and you need to participate enough in that group to become visible. But in saying that, there are also jobs posted, job opportunities posted in those groups, which you would never see elsewhere. This is one of them. Obviously, I am in groups like moving to New Zealand, immigration, etc., etc. So this one group here, this was 1 month ago. Okay, Matt Twiselton, he's an automotive recruiter in New Zealand. I'm an automotive recruiter placing people in New Zealand. I will be in the United Kingdom next week and keen to talk to OEM, qualified automotive technicians, blah, 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 blah. This kind of job ad is constantly in this group. So if you are in these kinds of groups, you will see these job ads constantly. You obviously see a lot of crap in here as well, which I constantly have to scroll through to be able to get to the gold. But you can see some job ads here as well. Someone is making good use of AI. But you'll see that there are jobs posted here. So also be careful of scams when you hear, but you will find the gold in here somewhere. So look at this one: recruitment consultant, tradesman, and certified drain layers. So these people posting and moving to New Zealand are obviously open to immigrants or international candidates. Okay, so this was posted 2 months ago in this specific group. There's thousands of these things. Make sense? Here was Johan Jubber. He came from Singapore to New Zealand, and that's how he found one of his job offers. He had several offers. A person that he met through a group that he joined. And that's how he found his job offer. And it is very common for this to happen because remember, the people in that group is a concentrated people concentrated on that specific topic. So it's like carpenters or electricians or, carpenters and electricians won't spend their time on LinkedIn, but accountants or accounting professionals or education professionals or whoever, IT professionals. I've had IT people meet people in a group. I've just had someone meet people in a group, and that's how they got their interview. So it happens all the time that you can actually meet people there, but you've got to participate. You've got to be active if you want to do that. But also you will see job ads sometimes posted in that group. Okay, cool. So those are the 5 ways. Let's recap that a little bit. Find and follow your targeted recruiters or hiring managers. Look for expressions of interest, either in a job search listings or just in Google. You can also go to Facebook groups in your location or your destination country. You can look at industry conventions, online events, which would be virtual events, webinars, seminars on the ground. That would be called job fairs. I'll put that in there for you. And then you can also look at professional associations or groups like LinkedIn groups. And you can see job ads there. And if you look at professional associations, let's look here at what did we do before? I think I'll show you this one. Accountant. Here we go. So if you do this kind of thing, you would potentially see jobs in, maybe it was not this one, at your accounting professional groups like CPA or CAANZ on their website. On their website, you would also find, sometimes you will find job listings. Can't see it very quickly here, but sometimes you will find listings here on their website. So these forums or membership sites would sometimes have job listings, a job listings page as well. I can't see one on this one very quickly, but it is there. Sometimes it's there. I've just worked with someone who's looking for a training role in a specific country, and the training industry in that country, in that niche, has a long list of jobs in that industry on that website. So you can see that as well. And that's just looking at professional associations. Alrighty, do we have any questions? Let me